So the latest episode of 24 Legacy just dropped. It is the 11th episode. It is the next to last episode of the season. If you've been tracking along with my reviews, you know that I just haven't been connecting with 24 Legacy as much as I did with the show 24. 24 is one of my absolute favorite shows of all time. So I decided to check out 24 Legacy and do weekly reviews of the episodes. And unfortunately, I haven't liked it as much as I wanted to. And so the first 5-6 episodes really weren't drawing me in. It seemed like there were too many plot lines, too scattershot, and then it seemed to get a lot more focused around episodes 7, 8, 9, and then the last couple of it's like stuff's happened, but it's felt like filler. And once again, we get to this episode, and I kind of feel the same way. Once again, we're getting really close to the end of the season, and it's like things moved forward, and some things were revealed. But it still just kind of felt like we're passing time till we really get to what's going to happen. And so in this episode, Rebecca Ingram's been kidnapped. Finally, we get Carter and Donovan together, interacting, kind of scheming together. You know, we've been kind of waiting the whole season for two of the main leads to get together. That happens in this episode. They unravel a big conspiracy, but it still felt a little bit like, you know, they're just in a car ride and they talk with a guy. Rebecca's tied up and talking with people. Our analyst guy's sitting at a computer, and it felt like there wasn't stuff happen when stuff could have happened. And so as we're getting so close to the end of the season, this one ended, and I was like, how are they going to resolve all this with only one episode? Because you've got the immediate situation where Carter is there facing off against Tony Almeida, and so there's enough material there for a big action sequence to happen and a standoff to happen. A bunch of stuff can happen with that. And then we have to resolve it with our main villains. And so there's a lot that needs to happen with that. You've got Carter needs to resolve with his wife. Carter needs to have resolution with his brother. You got to have Ingram and Donovan resolve their marital issues as related to he's discovered she's not who he thought she was, or she's not who, he's not who she she is not who he thought she was, and she's able to do things he didn't think that she was able and willing to do. Likewise, he's discovered that about his father, so you have to have resolution on that. You have to have resolution with what's going to happen to his father. You got to have resolution to what's going to happen with Donovan and his presidential campaign. Like, all of these things need to have resolution, and we have two big action sequences that need to happen in the episode. And there's even more things that need to happen. We've got this whole plot with new government conspiracy stuff that people need to be held accountable for, all of that as well. And so just going, man, there's a lot of plot that has to be resolved in the last episode. And I just, while at the same time I feel like they're dragging things out in this season, it also feels like they're rushing through things. As if, like, the way they outlined the season, it feels like this last kind of story arc that they're doing could have been spread over 2 or 3 more episodes and get a little bit more weight to it, because this situation with Carter having a standoff with Tony Almeida, that seems like a compelling episode, and that's in the original 24. Stuff would happen. Jack would get holed up in a building somewhere, and there'd be a standoff. The whole episode would be compelling because it was an interesting, different scenario. But for some reason, the way they're doing this season, it's like the exact wrong mix of ingredients. It's almost really good. It's almost right. It's almost good 24. But then something's just off in the way they do it. And you just got to think, like with this episode, all the stuff and the conspiracy stuff could have been put in the first half of the episode, even with kind of the way they're doing this, but put that in the first half of the episode. Second half of the episode, you have a big standoff shootout between Carter and Tony Almeida, and so you get the big action in the episode. Something really happens, and then you have an actual big kind of reveal. And I don't know if Tony's going to die in this. I don't know what's going to happen, but you have some big action sequence with a big reveal in it that sets us up to a final episode. That's just the first half of it is the showdown between Carter and the terrorists, and then the last half you actually get resolution to all the plot lines. As it is, the episode's going to start off, and you have to have the big showdown between Tony. I don't understand the way they're spacing this stuff out. Why there's so many, certain episodes just seem so dragged out. Even this one felt kind of dragged out. While they have enough plot to fill the number of episodes, so it's just frustrating what they've done with it. And as I've said all along, 24, one of my top 5 favorite TV shows of all time. And then this something's not right. The choices they made, the changes they tried to make, the characters they created, just the chemistry and the way they put it all together, the way they spaced it out, it's just not firing for me. And there's a little discussion last week at the end of the episode where I looked at the ratings for the show and talked about how I'm not quite sure it's going to get renewed, and I'm still feel that way. It doesn't. The numbers do not look promising. And I don't say that as someone that's like, yeah, this show sucks, I hope it gets canceled. No, I want them to make more 24, because if they announce they're going to make a second season 24, then there's the potential that we'll get another great season of 24. There's the potential it would be better than this season of 24, which obviously I've not cared for very much. And if they just cancel it, I mean, it'll be years until we get more 24. So I want them to renew it. I want it to be good, but it just hasn't worked for me. And the way they've constructed things, that got a little bit of momentum going, and then it just wasn't quite right. And even this episode, I felt like still we're on a positive stride. It's much better than the first half of the season. It's more focused and things are happening. But still at the end of the episode, I was like, what? I just couldn't help but be thinking, like, why didn't we have the Tony showdown in this episode? How are they going to finish all these plot lines? How is all this going to work out with so little time left in the season? And so, anyway, those are my kind of thoughts on it. I really want to be more positive, but I don't understand the decisions that they're making and the way they're spaced. All the stuff with the characters, even kind of the interactions at the beginning of it, with the way they had interactions between Donovan and Carter. It made both the characters kind of come off weak, and they're both have a certain desperation to them and weakness to them that doesn't feel right. Like you're watching 24 and you're like, I can't really root for either one of you guys because you're wrong. And then we learned things about Ingram, and we were like, it's hard to root for her, and she's done really terrible things. Man, I just don't understand what they're doing. So anyway, that's my take on it. In the scheme of the episode, it is one of the better episodes of the season, but unfortunately, that's just not saying a whole lot. And I wish they'd used some of the plot that they're saving for the next episode in this one, or some of the action they're putting in that one in this one. But I just don't get it. Anyway, that's my take on it. What do you think about it? Tell me in the comment section below. I know some of you guys are enjoying this a lot more than I am, and I wish I was on having the experience you're having. Unfortunately, I am not. Tell me what you're thinking down below. If you're new to my channel, please consider clicking that subscribe button. Talk about movie, talk about TV, do some TV show reviews from time to time. Mostly talk about movies. Also have a movie trivia competition I put up called Masters of Movie Trivia. I competed this last week, actually. It's a lot of fun. Me against a bunch of other YouTubers. Consider checking that out if you're interested. With all that said, thank you for watching.